Some women will go to massive measures to get a man to marry them. I was one of those women. In 2005, it was January, right around the beginning of the year, and we were playing cards with my family, and I thought, I have the worst case of the flu ever, and it has just settled into my back. And so I ended up in the emergency room in the middle of the night. And the nurse came to me and she said, we think the lab has made a mistake. We need to take more blood work. So I'm, okay. She comes back and she says, the lab didn't make a mistake. How have you been managing your diabetes? I said, what diabetes? I don't have diabetes. My boyfriend has diabetes. You see, I had been going to diabetes education classes with my boyfriend, and I knew what it meant when she said, your blood sugar is 367. And she looked at me, and I don't know if you've seen very many newly diagnosed type 1 diabetics, but they're pretty skinny. And I was probably 15 pounds thinner than now. And they're looking at me going, a 44-year-old skinny woman has diabetes? It was crazy. And so fortunately, the doctor that I had, and many are misdiagnosed, my husband actually was misdiagnosed for 2 years. He struggled taking pills and running and starving himself to keep his blood sugar normal when he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 37. And so we're a rare breed. But I was very grateful to be diagnosed properly. I was given insulin right away. And the last words that the doctor said to me when I left is, now be careful, red wine on an empty stomach could make you go low. So I thought, well, that sounds better than insulin, right? But I thought, you know, I can do this. I felt pretty empowered because I had already been through classes. And so Tim came to visit me in the hospital, and he was quite distraught. He was very upset, and I looked at him and I just said, come on, dude, you have to marry me now. You gave me your disease. So he did. 15 years later, we are still married. And my journey as a newly diagnosed diabetic wasn't as difficult as some. I guess there's this honeymoon period, and I knew about counting carbohydrates, and so instead of eating a whole banana, I would just eat half a banana, and I would dose my insulin, and I would do all the things that they told me that I should do. I was doing pretty good. But what I didn't know was that the average blood sugar, the A1C, can look pretty good. But what's really happening is your blood is going high, and it's going low, and it's going high, and it's going low. So one day, I lost my doctor, and I had some friends who said, you should go to this doctor because she has diabetes too. And so magically, I ended up in Dr. Hilt's office, and you heard her talk, and so you know what she tells her patients. She sat with me for 45 minutes, and she said the thing about if your blood sugar gets above 160, it starts turning into plastic. And I thought, I don't want that to happen. And I embraced the ketogenic diet, and I've never looked back. It's made my life so much easier. And along that journey, I kind of drugged my husband kicking and screaming because, you know, his favorite things, you know, pecan pie and different things like that. It's been hard for him to give up. And mostly things that we were told were healthy for us, like oatmeal. Sometimes he's like, I miss my oatmeal. But we're working together on it, and we do so much better on a low-carb diet. So through this process, I found a lot of people wanting help. And they go to their doctors, and even if they have a good doctor who gives them really good advice, they still walk into a grocery store alone. And they go, I don't know what to buy. I don't know what to eat. And so that gave me some impetus to write a book that I felt was very practical. And so you'll see it outside. It's called Derail Diabetes. And while I was writing it, I found one of those cartoons. And I think, which one of you guys used the cartoon from Randy Glassbergen? Was that you? So Randy Glassbergen, I saw one of his cartoons, and I just had to laugh. I mean, you know, he just illustrates what we go through so incredibly. And so I actually reached out to him and I said, can I use these cartoons? And he said, well, what are you using them for? And I told him the book, and he said, yeah, absolutely. And he gave me this incredible price of like $35. And he said, you can use these cartoons and you can use them in social media, you can use them in your newsletters, you can use them in your book, you can use them whatever you want. I said, great. So I set about getting ready to write this book and putting the cartoons. I finally had the ones picked out that I wanted to use. So I called up and I said, okay, I'm ready. And I spoke to his wife, and she said, Randy has actually passed away. And I said, oh, can I ask you what happened? And she said, he died from diabetic complications. So no wonder he gets it. He got the humor. He got the low-carb diet. One of my favorite cartoons was, darn, I'm sad that was a typo. I was doing really good on the low-carb diet. You know, I mean, he really gets it. So she said to me, she said, Randy wanted us to keep his cartoon business going so that until people didn't need to laugh anymore. And it's so great that he was there for me, and I got to meet him over the phone and talk to him and then hear his wife and story. So I did dedicate the book to Randy, and I hope you all will take a look at it. It's really funny, and it doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy. It can be easy to do, and of course, as you know, it can be easy not to do. So what I try to do is I help people on a real practical basis. And we made a cookbook. I partnered with a type 2 diabetic who loves to cook, and she created recipes where you could eat a diabetic keto-friendly diet on less than $5 a day. And that was even shopping here in Scottsdale. Fries, it was $4.07 a day for 3 meals. So we found that keto doesn't have to be expensive. So the problems are that people don't know, that people think it's too expensive, and that people need some coaching along the way sometimes. And so if you would like to get free weekly tips, just stop out at the table, give me your email address. I send recipes with that, and simple things that you can do every day as you face the day-to-day challenges to stay keto and stay healthy. So easy to do, easy not to do. I try to help make people make it easier. So stop back out and get some free weekly tips. Thank you.